We bet you've got a pretty short-sighted definition of freedom. You believe it means doing whatever you want, whenever you want, with little to no repercussions. But in your quest to pursue this vague notion of freedom, you can become reckless and chaotic. You don't want to pay a lifetime of regret for a short window of freedom. In this video, we'll go over the 3 prerequisites you need to solve in order to obtain true freedom. Welcome to Alux. The first thing you're probably getting wrong about freedom is the absence of rules. You believe in the wild, wild west and being young and careless. You don't want anybody to tell you what, when, or how to do anything. And when the real world hits you in the face with a reality punch, you start to realize you're never going to be free. But this happens because even though freedom is subjective, your definition is blurred. When you don't know what freedom actually looks like, you benchmark yourself against utopian ideals, starting with the absence of rules. You see, freedom is not about not having rules. It's about having really good ones that you implemented yourself. Ironically, freedom comes from having a great sense of discipline. If you want the freedom to stop what you're doing right now and just hang out for an entire year, you first need the discipline to make it happen. Nothing good ever comes without a cost or a sacrifice. If you want the freedom of snacking on junk food, you need the discipline of a healthy diet, or else sacrifice your health. There's always going to be some sort of balancing act. When you don't understand the importance of good rules for freedom, you become careless instead of carefree. Being careless means ignoring any kind of responsibilities or repercussions, while being carefree means you already took care of things and you are now free from worry. You see, people thought they wanted the freedom to wake up whenever they want, and they got that during the pandemic. But did that make you more free, or did it end up with you waking up later and later and losing almost half the day because of it? If you want the freedom to roam around the empty streets of a city you love without bumping shoulders with hundreds of tourists, you need to wake up at 4 a.m. Being carefree will always involve being disciplined first. And being disciplined means creating smart rules for yourself and sticking to them no matter what. Imagine for a second you're a country with a population of 1. You are the president, lawmaker, police force, taxpayer, and everything in between. How would you govern this country in order for it to become the land of the free? Now let's talk about money. First, make no mistake, especially in the world we're living in now, you will 100% need money to buy freedom. People who think they don't need any money to be free are only free from a safe future. If you want to be free living on your own farm raising ducks, you need to be able to buy the farm first. Most people mistake money for wealth. And you're smart to know that you work for money while wealth is having your money work for you. And it's the second type you want. But here's the reality. There are currently 56.1 million millionaires in the world. If you think that's a big number, that translates to about only 1% of the total population. In other words, 99% of the people in this world don't have enough wealth that buys them freedom. And this begs 2 questions. 1, how much wealth do you need to buy freedom? And 2, can you buy freedom while working for money? Well, let's start off with the first one. By today's standard, it's estimated you need about $2 million in net assets to be considered rich and in turn buy yourself freedom. Now, of course, that number can change depending on the individual and the environment, because like $1,000 could buy a whole lot more in Southeast Asia than it could in Switzerland. Now, let's consider the question, can you buy freedom while working for money? Well, technically, no. But practically, you can buy the free trial version. For example, you can't buy the freedom of time when you're working for money, but you can buy some time. For example, if you go into freelancing on a high-paying skill, you have more control over your time. If you then invest part of your salary into an index fund, you buy a little financial safety net. Well, it's the same for every type of freedom. You'll never be able to afford the full premium package while working for money. And lastly, predictability. Do you know what's going to happen 6 months from now, or how about a year from now? It's been said that you can't predict the future, but it's not entirely true. You can predict your future if you build it yourself. And taking control of your future means taking control of your freedom as well. You can't say yes or no to anything if you don't know how much money you'll make next year or how much time you'll have. You can't afford to take many risks, and you're forced into a position to play it safe. Predictability means knowing what needs to happen, by when, and how to do it. Naval Ravikant said his knowledge and skills put him in a position where he can launch a company from building the team to shipping a product in about 3 months. This gives him immense freedom in choosing and picking the right time and the right industry to get involved anytime he wants. Imagine with absolute certainty you could get into the shape of your life in exactly 5 months, no matter where you are now. You've done it before, you know how it goes. It's like a superpower that you can deploy whenever you need to. Predictability is not something that's being talked about that much because it doesn't sound very sexy. But predictability sits at the foundation of our very survival. Think about the early hunter-gatherers. They couldn't predict if lunch was on the table that day, or even if they would live to see it. But as people moved from hunting to farming, the predictability of a constant source of food gave them the freedom to not put themselves in danger every single day. And look, nothing has fundamentally changed since then. You want things to be predictable and secure, not mysterious and wild. Also, predictability doesn't mean taking things for granted. It means being aware of what the outcome is if you choose to do something a certain way so you can plan accordingly. If you can manage to solve these 3 puzzles, you'll have a predictable path to freedom, pun intended. Now, we know every one of you wants the freedom to make your own choices and do what you want, when you want, and with whomever you want. And hopefully this video gives you a clearer idea of how to make that happen for yourself. And as always, as a thank you for watching this short video until the end, we've got a bonus for you. Since freedom has a subjective meaning to everyone, a better way to understand it is this. Think of freedom like more space, but not just more space in your living room. We're talking about more space in your calendar, in your budget, in your friends list. And most importantly, more mental space. And Alexer, if you want to start solving the money piece of the puzzle, we've got a great video for you to watch next, and it works great in this context. It's called Why Highly Successful Entrepreneurs Build Stupid Simple Businesses. In it, we discuss a couple of huge businesses that have stupid, simple ideas behind them and why that happens. And here's the reality. The only way to solve the money puzzle is to own something that increases in value over time. And 9 times out of 10, that means owning your own business. So go watch that one, Alexers, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for the Sunday motivational video.